Okay, perfect. So we're in here. Let me tweet it out. Nobody's going to be on here yet anyway. I mean, the Reds may never want to start the Chase Burns.
It's so bad.
He finally pitches the gem, and then the bullpens. I'm like not even mad at Tony Santillan. Like as bad as he walked the guy that he shouldn't have walked, but like the offense has been so bad, like so bad.
Yeah, and you can't even get mad at Marte for the play in the field.
Yeah, it's just okay. So it's on. So do I have to like change the thumbnail on YouTube itself?
You can do it post.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, let me tweet it out, and then we'll get some people in here. Probably like 17 people will vent to. Yeah, it's just. I mean, once Tommy Pham got that hit, I was like, here it comes.
It just had to be Tommy Pham too, right?
Tommy Pham. Like, what are the Pirates doing holding on to him? Why did they could have traded him for? I don't care if they're like a team would like, hey, we'll give you our 37th best prospect. Like, look at the Naquin trade. Like, at least Tommy Pham being on your team for half of a year for a team that is not going to make the playoffs. Like, there's literally no point. I don't.
I can't even call them trash because they beat us. But
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Somebody tweeted. There was like a huge Pirates account that quote tweeted my 19-41 tweet, not knowing that was before yesterday, and said 19-42, and I just replied and said actually it's 19-43. I was like, I can't even be mad at them. Like they can absolutely troll us.
Let's see. I'll tell you what, though, it was kind of cool seeing some Shingen Lin highlights.
Dude, I know. I didn't realize he was going to be pitching for him. It's so weird what they did with him. Like last year, he didn't pitch at all, and then this year they're like, "Oh, he's going to pitch and hit," and now it's like he's a better pitcher than hitter. I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, I saw. I saw that it was the intention was to get him comfortable hitting to begin, because I guess he was a better pitcher out of Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
They said he could crank it up to like high 90s.
Yeah, I
don't know what he's hitting here.
Well, what's his name was said? Who's the guy? Carrick was saying that he like was throwing 90 in the first inning, and then he was hitting 93 by the end of the start. Okay, I just tweeted out. Sorry, we've been all over the place. Okay, we already got some comments here. The offense is buns. Where were the bats to support Burns, and what is the goal to be 500 every year? I think those are all very valid comments. It seems like, this is the third year in a row we're like, at least the Reds are contending late in the season, and then you're like, every year it's like, all right, we have this series that you should be able to take 3 out of 4 against the Pirates. The Pirates just absolutely destroy us. I mean, you can literally I just laughing at this point. Like I don't understand how a team, an organization that is so bad, you just cannot beat them at PNC Park. They don't have fans that go to the games. Like last night, they had decent fans because Skeens was starting. I think they had like 25,000. But like, how can they not beat them? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse. The fact that they can't beat the Pirates in Pittsburgh, or that our record when we score 3 runs or less.
Yeah. It's so bad. I mean, it's like the offense is just what drives me crazy. Like it's truly crazy. And I thought they were fine at the deadline. I mean, they didn't go get the big bat, which it clearly needed. They went and basically got a better Santiago Espinal. I mean, respect to Ryan Hayes. He's a great great defender. There's no saying that, but there's no, I'm not denying that. But this team needed bats, and you're basically putting a bat in there. And I know they like his upside and they think they can fix it, but you're not going to make changes to him in the second half. They're not going to make changes to him with 2 months left in the season. So he's just not hitting. And then we're putting in Santiago Espinal as a defensive replacement at first base today. And then he gets an at bat versus right-handed pitching late in the game. It's like, what is going on? Like, you pinch run Marte and then pinch hit. Well, no, you put Espinal in the game for defense, but then of course he gets an at bat when Andujar has been on 3 times. Like, this offense is so frustrating to watch because nobody can hit the ball. Nobody can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Like, nobody hits the ball out of the ballpark. They've hit like 3 home runs in August. They have 1 home run in the last 3. They have 0 home runs in the last 3 games. It's just crazy.
I mean, it's laughable. I mean, like you see all the comments everywhere. It's like, blame Tito because he does this, blame Tito because he does that. I mean, what is he supposed to do with the players that he has? I mean, he's got nobody that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. And Ellie's on his little cold streak right now, but I mean, you can make the argument about Will Benson, but he was hitting like 214 in July, and he just happened to get hot the last couple games and then the first game of August and got sent down. But I mean, he's the only guy really that has a threat of putting the ball out of the ballpark and any given at bat.
Well, I think that's almost – not just to play devil's advocate. I think that's almost why, like, at this point, if this is what the offense is, I'd almost rather have CES, Reese Hines, and Will Benson all playing every day. Just because, like, at least they can hit, like, that Rockies game last – right before the All-Star break or right before the trade deadline, I forget what it was, like, Benson saved the game with an extra base hit late. Like, there's just right now nobody can change the game late. Like that 9th inning, you're like, here comes the 9th inning. I had no confidence that anyone was going to do anything in the 9th inning. Whereas, like, at least when those guys are up, like, and again, I was huge on CS to start the year. He's been very bad. I'm not acting like CS has been good. But at least when he's up there, you're like, this guy has the chance to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Like, as good as Gavin Lux has been, Gavin Lux has 6 hits over the last 2 games. But the way this roster is constructed and how many guys that hit singles on this team, like, it's like, cool, he had 5 singles and a double. And, like, the Reds still can't score. Like, and that shouldn't be how I feel, because if the roster was built around Gavin Lux, he could be a very big part of this team. But it's like, you have, again, Fraley had the bases loaded early in the game, and of course he hits into a double play, like, doesn't get the ball in the air. It's just, I'm literally to the point, like, if the offense is going to be this bad, you may as well just have Hines, Benson, and CS up here, who at least, or heck, Ryan, I don't know how you say his last name, Vlad, I think.
Vlad, I think.
But he's crushing it in AAA. Give him a shot. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand the point of having Espinal. And again, I shouldn't have Lux in there. I'm just saying Lux because he's not a power guy. Espinal, Lux, Andujar, like, all these guys are just singles hitters for the most part.
Fraley.
Andujar has some power. Yeah, Fraley. Andujar has some power against left-handed pitching, but, like, it's just, you've seen it not work for so long now, and we just keep running out the same lineup. Austin Hayes is struggling mightily right now. Spencer Steer's struggling mightily. Marte's struggling mightily lately. Like, but so I think that's why, again, I know I said just play devil's advocate. I think that's kind of why some people are, like, on Tito, is it's like, it just seems like no matter what's happening, they're just kind of running out the same lineup, which nobody's really hitting, to be fair. So I'm not sure switching them around. But I wonder, and I don't know your thoughts on this. I know I'm just rambling now, but that's why I wanted to go live. I was like, I'm going to have some good ones cooking.
Got a vent.
Yeah. But, like, where do you think – because I feel like Tito's very involved in the roster, whereas other managers, I don't feel – like, I don't feel last year that David Bell was very involved in roster decisions, where I almost feel like Will Benson being sent down to the minor leagues and Espinal staying up, I don't feel like that's a Nick Krall decision. Just based on the past years, it doesn't seem like that would be a decision that he would make. Whereas it seems like it fits kind of what Tito and Chris Valleca like. And I could be making that up. I could be completely wrong, but that's just how I feel. And he also made a comment that in the trade deadline, and this kind of made me think of this too, that he was, like, up in the war room with Brad Medor and Nick Krall, kind of listening to, like, the conversations and hearing, which makes me think if he's allowed to do that, which, again, he's a legend, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So I don't blame those guys for letting him do that. But I just seems to think that I feel like he has his hands on the roster a little bit more than previous managers probably do, and it kind of puts them in a hard spot with having a bunch of guys that have no power. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. What do you think?
Yeah, I have a different take. The way I understood it, he was in the war room, but he was completely hands off. He was just watching them work.
Well, that is what he said. To be fair,
yeah.
I just kind of took it to the next level of. I heard that and was like, maybe he's more involved, but that's just a guess.
It makes sense just because of like who he is, but I don't know, man. I've just listened to Crawl and Mador's comments at the beginning of the season about how they want singles hitters, they want gap hitting, they don't want guys to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and then you got Crawl saying no peaks and valleys, and Benson's like the ultimate peaks and valley player. He's as high can get, and he gets as low can get, and it's just to no fault of his own. He's just he's when he gets hot, but then when you get cold, you get cold. I don't know. I remember in spring training, I couldn't tell you who they were playing, but they had Brad Meador in the broadcast booth with Sadak, and I just from me being someone who just writes about the team, I have no involvement at all.
Yeah,
just hearing like the words he chose about. We are going to have Lux bat fifth. We are going to have Hayes bat cleanup. Ellie's going to bat third because that's what Ellie wants. Like it seems like the front office has more hand in maybe even the lineup than Tito does. And I could be completely wrong on that just because Tito is the manager, but it does feel like sometimes when you hear their comments that they have a specific way that they want it to go about, and he's just got to kind of make it work.
Yeah, see, that's interesting because I feel like we're polar opposite on that. Like I feel like it's like Tito being involved in the front office and them almost being scared to tell Tito, like, hey, we know you like Santiago Espinal, but Will Benson, you're going to play Will Benson,
Right.
And I think part of the way I feel like that is just on the previous years. Like with David Bell, it felt like they never said like anything that they're saying this year. They never said like home runs aren't important until like Chris Vlaca came in and was like, we're gonna be slap hitters, and he didn't say that. Obviously, I'm just being dramatic now.
Right.
But
feels like
I think that's why I feel like that a little bit is because it feels like, and maybe they just all met and then they were like, it hasn't been working in the past. We're gonna try something new. But I don't know. Yeah, it's so regardless of who the roster is to blame, it's just like. It doesn't make sense to sit here on a team that the pitching gives you so much night in and night out, and the offense just struggles. This comment by Branch Brown said, to the folks that hate the three true outcomes, this is why hitters get paid. Singles don't clear bases, homers do. And that's so true. Like I know you're the same way, Ricky, but like Adam Dunn, that dude would be looked at as one of the best players in baseball.
He'd be one of the highest paid players in baseball.
Yeah, we're back when he played. It was like people hated him because he struck out so much. Meanwhile, he was hitting 40 home runs, 45 home runs. Now the Reds can't even get someone to hit 20 home runs, 25 home runs. Like it's crazy. And I know people still hate strikeouts and the whole thing, but like I would rather watch 100 strikeouts than weak ground ball double plays in key situations. Or like
listen to these OPS plus numbers by Adam Dunn. This is insane. So he gets called up 2001. Rookie year, 136 OPS plus. 121, 116, 147, 141, 114, 136, 131, 132, 127, 144, 138.
It's insane. Yeah, he's literally insane.
And everybody hated him because he strikes out too much.
Yeah.
He nearly had 1,000 OPS every season. 948 OPS, 854, 819, 956, 927, 940, 898, 901, 928.
Yeah, it's literally crazy. And what's also crazy is that the Reds got like nothing for him. We got Micah Ohans.
Right.
We got a hitting pitcher.
It was like a consensus thing that everybody just didn't like Adam Dunn yet. But if he played, 6-year, if he comes up, if he debuts in 2007 and not 2001, he's looked at completely different.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's so frustrating. I just don't understand how this team just cannot beat bad teams. Like they'll go play Philly and probably have a good chance to win the series, and they'll go play they'll play the Brewers at some point. I mean, I don't have any hope against the Brewers.
That's gonna be the deal breaker right there.
It's just, and that's what's crazy too is like I know I was kind of neutral on the David Bell hype last year. Like I don't truly think David Bell was like an awful manager. I think he worked with what he had, and people didn't like him because he was like very heavily platoon. Like he would play Kevin Newman, and people hated that, and he'd play, Espinal, but I don't think he was a great manager. I also don't think he was an awful manager. I was kind of like whatever, but I don't know. It's just I don't even know where I was going with this now.
David Bell hype.
Yeah. I'm just hyping David Bell up, but I'm just like what I was going is like it just seems like it's the same team year in and year out. Like everyone was on David Bell because it was like they play down to their competition and they struggle, and it seems like it's the same thing this year. Like it just seems like every year it's the same thing year in and year out. But I don't know when we get over this hump. It's like you get excited, and they're not out of the playoffs. They could go win 10 straight, but we've been saying that for how many months? I mean, there's like 40, 47, 48 games left or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they could get hot.
Yeah,
they haven't been hot yet.
That's what I'm saying. At some point, but it's like this team was 4 games under 500, 4 games over 500. They were none of in between that for so long, and then they got to like 5 and 6, and they want to get above that. They want to go below 4, and now they're all of a sudden 3. But it's just wild. But here's a good talking point we can have, because this is another thing that has happened this year. John Huss says a reporter needs to ask Tito why the running game is gone. If you don't hit homers, you better cause havoc on the bases, and they go station to station. Why? So I actually agree with this. Which the first inning you had nobody on. Ellie gets a bloop hit. So there's Ellie on base with 2 outs. That's the perfect situation to run. Like if he gets thrown out, oh well, you just had a runner on first with Austin Hayes up, who's been struggling anyway. But instead you just don't run. Austin Hayes hits a dribbler and the inning's over. Like I think it's almost like everyone hated the Reds getting thrown out on the bases so much last year that it was like this year Tito and front office or whoever's making the calls is like, we're just not going to run anymore. They're like 14th. They're like 14th in Major League Baseball in stolen bases. I think they said 8th on the broadcast tonight, but that was 8th in the National League. But like you have Ellie De La Cruz on your team. If you're 14th, you're not running at all. You have Marte on your team. Marte's sprint speed's faster than Ellie De La Cruz, which I don't think people realize. But like they're just not running. And I totally that's what I don't get either. Like if you're going to be a team that wants to win by hitting singles and doubles in the gap, you have to advance on the bases by being aggressive on the bases. But somehow they're not doing that. What's your take on their take on, I guess, how they've been on the bases this year?
Yeah, it's weird because Cleveland ran when he was in Cleveland, and Boston, they were a different team in Boston, but like Johnny Damon would steal bases,
Just to jump in on that point, Rolf, and then let's keep going. But I finished the Netflix documentary today of when the Red Sox came back from 3 down against the Yankees. And I thought it was interesting because Tito talks about subbing in Dave Roberts in Game 4 when they were down 3-0. And they said Dave Roberts, in the 9th inning, after he got on base with nobody out, he said, Dave Roberts, you're green light, go whenever. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, why doesn't Ellie have the green light in the first inning of the game? Like, that's the most pressure-filled situation of all time. And you're telling Dave Roberts, go. I'm like, Tito, we need that kind of Tito back. Give Ellie the green. Anyway, I thought that was interesting watching that today based on how the Reds are not running this year.
Yeah, it's weird. I wonder if part of it is like the returning coaches that did stay from David Bell that are still here. Maybe they didn't agree with David Bell, like as a whole, like Calgo and Benavidez and J.R. House. Maybe they didn't like the response. Maybe they didn't want to lose their job too by getting all these outs on the base pass. I don't know. It's a weird dynamic just because you have literally two of the fastest players in baseball in Marte and Ellie, and McLean's no slowpoke either. He's pretty quick if he can get on base. And Benson, if he's on the team and he's on base, he can steal bases too. He could be a 2020 player easily if he played like a full season. I don't know. I feel like there's probably going to be a significant amount of coaching changes this offseason no matter what happens. Just because I don't think Tito wanted to overstep coaching staff moves. I knew he wanted his guys. He got Brad Mills in, and he got Valleca in, and Napoli's here. And I don't know. It's different. It's just it seems like he's coaching this team different than he has any team in the past.
Yeah, and I've kind of tried to stay off like the being hard on Tito thing because, like, again, I think there is a part of being a manager of like keeping the guys together and having your players like you. And I think all that is true. Like, I think all of his players, Lodolo said on the broadcast tonight. Now, obviously, he's not going to get on there and say I don't like Terry Francona, but the way they talk about him, it just seems like the players like him. You can tell Ellie really likes him. Like, so I think he does a good job with that, but it's just some of the decisions you see on a nightly basis. You're like, what? Or like, I forget who said it a little bit ago. Like, people probably think I'm like the biggest Santiago Espinal hater of all time, but I'm like, it's almost like you had to just get him off the team so Tito can't be forced to put him in there. Like, how many times this year have we seen him take in a bat in the 8th or 9th inning against a right-handed pitcher? It's like, there's stats. If I can see the stats that Espinal's one of the worst hitters in baseball against right-handed pitching, why is he getting to the bat in a clutch situation? You know, that it's just little things like that is where, you know, it just confuses me, and I don't really understand. And I think that goes back to my point of like, and again, you're the manager, but like that goes back to my point where I almost think like sometimes it's Tito kind of with his old school mentality, and people are kind of not telling him to be like, hey, like maybe don't pitch hit Espinal in the 8th or 9th inning of a game against a right-handed pitcher, you know? But I don't know. We go back and forth on it all day.
It's funny. I was looking at Spotrac. Espinal's the 10th highest paid player on the team. Maybe he just feel like it's funny though when you look at the guys who are in the top 10 in salary. Austin Hayes is 5th, Lux is 7th, Fraley's 8th, Espinal's 10th. Do you think that maybe he's playing these guys because he's like, hey, we're paying these guys. You know, it's granted it's $4 million, $3.5 million, $2 million, but for the Reds, that's a significant amount of money. Like, do you think?
I mean, that's crazy.
That could be a thing.
Based on the South, yeah, I don't know. I think the Reds truly like guys that make contact. I really do think they like guys that like kind of can, you know, have that 2-strike approach and can, you know, put a good at bat together. But at some point you got to look and be like, dude, it's August. His OPS against right-handed pitching is 500. I don't care if he can slap the ball the other way with 2 strikes, but
slap the ball the other way and ground into a double play.
Your co-host Roger says Mason Neville got his first hit at Daytona tonight. That's big time. I was looking. I watched one of his at bats. I think he was 0 for 3 when I looked, so he must have got an at bat. He must have got a hit in his last at bat.
Nice, good for him. That's a cool thing, man. It's kind of weird how they brought him in as a pinch hitter. Got one at bat yesterday. Again, you're debuting, just get a pinch hit, and you're going to strike out probably. Him and what's the other guy? Vu. Yeah, he struck out too.
Yeah. I guess they just get your feet wet. They might have not got there till they might have not got there. Yeah, I was gonna say they probably put them on like a domestic flight, probably like a Legion or something.
Oh, jeez.
Send them over there. That's funny, but yeah, I don't know. It's just the Pirates, man. The Pirates things kills me. Like I'm just like, how many times can you lose to the Pirates? Like the Brewers thing is one thing because the Brewers are a good team. Like it sucks getting dominated. It sucks getting dominated by the Brewers, but they're a really good team. You can look at their organization. Everybody in baseball says the Brewers are a way better organization than the Reds. I think if you said, are the Reds or the Pirates a better organization, I think 99% of people would say the Reds are a better organization than the Pirates.
Yeah.
But yet we get destroyed by the Pirates. Roger said if it was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts tonight. Not great. But that's all right. That's all right. He's getting his feet.
He said domestic flight like Ellie got.
Yeah. Send them on a domestic flight overseas.
Jeez.
But yeah, I don't know. Anything else that stuck out to you tonight or lately that you want to talk about before we hop off here? I just had to come on here and vent. And when I vent by myself, it's less fun than having somebody with you on here. So
yeah, I guess like the one thing that just bugs me is seeing Jake Fraley roll over a ball with runners in scoring position. It feels like that happens once a game.
Yeah, I know Fraley. It's weird.
I love
he's
Fraley.
he's been one of our better hitters since the All-Star break. But it's still, I'm the same way. Like it does when Fraley gets up to the bat. I never have like a good feeling. I don't say not a good feeling, but I don't have confidence that he's going to like deliver. I should say.
Yeah.
He's just. It kind of just feels like he is what he is. He may get hot for a little while, like he was, but then it was weird. He was red hot, and then all of a sudden Tito like would throw Will Benson in there when Benson hadn't played, or like he'd throw some. And I'm like, what? Fraley is literally red hot for like the first time ever. Can we keep him in the lineup?
Right?
It's just but I am with you. Like I was walking my dog, and I had the game on my phone during that, and my phone was in my pocket, so I was basically just listening. And I was like, bases loaded, here we go. And I was just thinking, it's sad, but I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, here it comes, single walk or whatever it was, single walk, single. And you're just thinking, you're like, how are they going to screw this up? And double play happens. They said ground ball, and I was like praying because again, I wasn't watching it. It was I was listening. And they said ground ball, and I was just praying Fraley. They were going to say Fraley beat it out at first. They're like, nope, you get double play, and the guy scored the run. And then, of course, O'Neal Cruz makes a diving catch. Hayes hit that ball hard. Was it? He hit it hard, just right at him.
Yeah, it was right at him. It was. I'll see if I can find the exit philo on it. It was.
Yeah, they said it was.
It was a solid hit.
Yeah, it just and that again. That's one of those. You look back at that inning. And you're like, the Reds, that's the inning that lost them the game. They had the bases loaded with no outs, and they scored 1 run. So, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it sucks.
I tweeted out. You already replied to it. Nice. Multitasker. Let's read some of that. I said, put out, what's your biggest frustration with this Reds team? I'll read. I'll scroll through and see if there's any fun ones. Here you go. That we talked about this already. That they're perfectly fine with being mediocre every year. All right, this brings up a good point. This brings up a good talking point. That I wonder how you feel about this. I always see on Twitter that the ownership of the team truly does not care about winning. Do you feel that that's true, or do you feel that they just don't want to spend? They just can't spend the money to truly compete, or do you think they're actually fine with being an average baseball team?
That's a tough one, just because I don't think that they don't care. I just think like when they put that statement out when they bought the team, we're going to do everything in our power to, win a World Series and bring championship baseball back to Cincinnati. It's like contracts weren't as crazy back then. Like,
yeah,
that's less than 20 years ago, and the highest contract then was like $185 million. and now it's 770. Like,
Yeah.
that is an insane amount of money. And when your owner isn't even worth that, it's hard to it's hard.
Yeah.
You can't justify, going I guess basically going into debt to potentially win games. But then there's also the argument, like, they seem content being 22nd in payroll every year. Like, they're not top half, they're not quite bottom half, they're just kind of in the middle. And I feel like if they spent more money in scouting and spent more money in other aspects to where you could kind of see a Candelaria situation happening, you could see a Moustakis situation happening, and you avoid that contract and you can go spend the money somewhere else. Like, you could go put more years into a Castellanos back when at the same time, and maybe go sign a pitcher instead. Or, the what's his the Akiyama contract, like a 32-year-old outfielder rookie. Like, he's not going to get better. Like, I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, I think, I'm with you. Like, I don't really buy they're content with being 500 and they just want to sell bobbleheads and make money.
Right.
Like, I truly think their people are competitive and they want to win. Now, sure, like, I can understand that maybe they want to save some money and make money, but that's where there's plenty of teams in baseball that don't spend a ton. Like, the Brewers do not spend a ton of money, and they're great year after year after year. But they're not going to get huge free agents. They just figured it out. But where I do struggle, like, they're still making a lot of money. Every Major League Baseball team makes money. Like, they don't spend a ton, but that thing comes out every year, amount of payroll and then how much the team makes. Now, there's other things that aren't just payroll that you have to spend, but you cannot. The Reds are making money for the Castellinis, so that's where I'm like, you can spend more. But at the same time, what I will say, and again, I'm not trying to stick up for ownership, because I don't think the ownership's been great, but this is where the people that they've signed off for Crawl to go say spend money. Like you mentioned, Akiyama, terrible. Jeimer Candelario, terrible. Mike Moustakas, terrible. Like, they're missing on those targets, and two of them you've missed so bad. Three of them, really, if you count Will Myers, he was a 1-year deal. Well, like, Will Myers, Jeimer Candelario, and Mike Moustakas, the Reds are all paid them to not play for them because they were such misses. So, like, that's the part where if you're the Castellinis, you're like, well, we gave you money and you completely whiffed on these contracts. So that's some on the front office, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just an interesting conversation, because I know people were frustrated with the ownership, and I'm frustrated with the ownership. I wish they would spend more money. I wish they would be more aggressive and give Crawl all the resources and say, go trade for Eugenio Suarez at the trade deadline. But I just don't think there's a lot of merit in, like, Phil Castellini's like, I can just, go 81 and 81 every year and no big deal. Like, I think they do want to win. It just, they haven't found it. So just an interesting conversation, I think. But there was another good one here. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was doing some math. If you saw me looking away, I was trying to do some math over here. Between Moustakas and Candelario, that's $109 million.
Not great.
That's not good.
Yeah.
And then that's not even counting Akiyama. He was in the 30s, right? 30 million, I think.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's been bad. It's been bad. Anyway, here's another good one that I kind of agree with, honestly. It kind of sounds mean with how he wrote it, but I'm going to read. He says, the bottom line, this team is boring as shit. They play such a dull brand of baseball. And like, I kind of agree with it. Like,
yeah.
You look at the 2023 team and, like, how that team every night when that team was down, like we talked about Fraley being up tonight or the ninth inning tonight, you're like, this game's over. Like I was already writing my tweet, Reds lose, where you were probably updating the recap, like loss.
As soon as Santillan gave up the run, I had the title changed.
Yeah. Whereas 2023, like it felt like the Reds were down, and you're like, they're going to rally, they're going to come back, and then last year's team was even fun. Like I know we talked about a little bit earlier. We know, like I know people were mad earlier, or I know people were mad about get thrown out on the bases so much, but like it was also fun to watch. Like every time someone got on base, like there was a threat to steal or there was a threat to make something happen. Like I'm convinced like Ellie will never do the cool things of like try to steal home or run from second on a pickoff to go home anymore, because they're like, it feels like they're putting the brakes on him. So you have a team that doesn't hit for power. They don't steal bases. They're just like, it's just like watching the offense. Now the pitching's fun to watch. I don't agree with the pitching's boring to watch. The pitching's been great, I think. But the offense, I would agree with that. I think the offense is very boring to watch. I mean, it's been we haven't seen a home run in 4 days, Ricky. We haven't seen a home run by the Reds in 4 days.
Terrible. Lots of singles.
Lots of singles, man. I did like a alert today when Gavin Lux hit a double down the line. I was like, holy shit, we hit a double.
He did it.
But
there is an extra base.
Do you agree with that sentiment, or do you think that's over dramatic, or what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree. I just don't know what they do about it.
Yeah.
You know, when you have nothing but singles hitters, it sucks. And then when you add in the fact that they spent $135 million on 3 players that played a total of maybe a season and a half combined.
And we're terrible when they
and we're just terrible. And that's not even counting with the Will Myers contract.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. It's just not fun. And then you see it like like Branch Brown, you know, the Brewers traded Corbin, Hader, and Williamson, and they didn't even really have to. It just takes guts. You know, it's like we did that in 22 with, you know, Castillo and Sonny Gray and Tyler Malley. It's like we traded guys away, and we got really good prospects in return. It's just CES. I don't know how you feel about him long term, because he is already 25. Like he's kind of getting past the prospect time, you know. And McLean's 24. Like, at least like Ellie and Marte are still 22. Like they're 22, 23. Like they're still really young. I'm not saying anything bad about McLean, because I know the injury and not playing for a full season. Like I do think he bounces back next year, because he's been really good since, I think he's batting 300 since the All-Star game. So he's getting there. I don't know what they do about trying to prove that they want to win, because it just seems like they kind of half-ass these contracts and go, okay, this guy's done this. He's older. He's not in the best of shape. Let's go sign this guy. And it's like they see a name and go, everybody knows who Mike Moustakas is. Let's go sign him. Or Jimmer Candelario, he's, you know, they wanted a power hitter, but he's never been like the power hitter. He's always been a doubles guy. And he didn't even do that for us. But it's
and I do think like if the Reds would have sold this year, because let's be real, if the Brewers were where the Reds were this year, the Brewers would have sold.
Oh, they're selling everybody.
Yeah. So I think the Reds are in such a tricky spot that the fan base is so ready for a winner, and I fell into it. Like I was like, buy.
Oh yeah.
But like they would have probably sold Nick Lodolo at his peak. They probably would have sold TJ Friedel at his peak, and you would deal with the pushback, but also they have the fans. Like I remember when Hader was traded, and the clubhouse and the fans were like, "What are you doing?" But at the same time, then you start winning, and they're like, "Okay, no big deal." Whereas they've earned that trust with the fan base and the players, I guess, more so the fan base. Where it's like if the Reds were to sell this year at 3 games back at the deadline, they would have. I mean, fans would have been going absolutely nuts. But I agree. Like it is that would have probably the statistical right thing to do would have with their schedule in the second half and everything probably would have been to sell. But then you literally half the fan base is going to be like, this organization is not serious. This because it's been so long and it's just the same thing every year. So I do think it's hard. And then the other thing, I think we being people who just talk about it and don't have to actually make signings, like it is hard to for small market teams to sign good free agents. Like for bigger free agent targets. And like I don't know what it has been recently, but I remember earlier in the year I looked at like Jerkson Profar. He was suspended for PDDs. Tyler O'Neill, he had been doing terrible. I don't know if he's still doing terrible, but I don't think he's doing good. Teoscar Hernandez, he was never signing with the Reds. He said he was going to sign with the Dodgers all along. Anthony Santander, he's been terrible. So like you look at all these guys that were like everyone was like sign. A lot of them have been bad. So it's like I don't know where I'm going with it, but I do think it's easy to just be like these guys stink. But it's again when you're in the small market like with the Reds, like the Dodgers can sign Teoscar Hernandez, and if he stinks, guess what? Nobody cares. They'll just go sign him again. Whereas we're sitting here, we're talking about the Reds are still going to have to pay Jeimer Candelario all this money to not play for them, and then they're not going to be able to sign. We had to give up Taylor Rogers in a deal just so we could get Ryan Hayes, so the money evened out. And then meanwhile, the Pirates went and traded Taylor Rogers for prospects somehow. I don't know how. They probably got not money prospects, but they got something for him. But it's something. Like you're stuck in this you're just stuck in this weird thing. I guess the front office just they have to win, and then people will trust them a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting if the Reds miss the playoffs. Like if they stick around. If I have no idea. I don't know what to think honestly.
Yeah, and when you look at the free agents coming up this year, it's like very top heavy, and I feel like that's where we struggle. Is like I just don't think we do a good job scouting that mid-level talent free agents. Like we saw Candelario, and we saw a kind of heavier, slow-footed third baseman who's not that good defensively. That hits doubles. 30 years old plus, and like everybody wants to go get Kyle Schwarber, but like he's 33 already. Like, granted, he's a DH, but like eventually you slow down, and you like we saw like Candelario's 31. Like, did anybody really expect Candelario to just fall off the planet at 31?
Right. Yeah.
And Pete Alonso, he's 31. Like, kind of similar build. I mean, anything can happen. And I mean, when you look at the top free agents, you know, a lot of them are opt-outs, but there's not anybody that just screams like this guy's really good. Like Trent Grisham's the 9th ranked free agent.
Yeah, well, it's almost like those are the guys the Reds have had some success with. Like I know Hayes has been struggling lately, but like Austin Hayes or Nick Martinez or you can name a million of them of the smaller guys that the Reds have had some success with. Whereas when they actually go try to pay people some money, it seems like when they struggle. But here's another good question. Talked back to the game tonight. Barstool Sports. Wow, I love nice. Terry loves the sub, but with Marte, what would you have done late in the 8th? FYI question for either of you. The Marte, I don't know. I would have put him if you're going to put Marte in the game. I don't know why you don't put him in to get an at bat. He's new. He's just a newly. He is fast. I get the pinch running thing to a degree, but Espinal batted like 2 batters later. I think you could have found a way to like pinch hit him there, and then put Spencer Steer in the game at first. Like you're basically subbing him to attempt one stolen base before the inning's over, and then you're putting him out in right field, which he's played like 10 career games at. So it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I would at least found a way to get him in a bat. He's kind of been struggling lately too, but that's what he's best at right now.
Yeah, you feel like you could have just pinch hit. I guess if you're going to do that, pinch hit Andujar for Marte. pinch run Espinal. Like Espinal's not that slow. I mean, he's not like fast, but just do it in reverse order. That way Espinal doesn't get an at bat. Like I trust Marte against the right-handed pitcher way more than I do Espinal.
Oh yeah. When Espinal gets up there against the right-handed pitching, I like want to walk out of the ring. Like, this is
especially late in the game. Like
it's
second inning, third inning, fine. You might eventually you're gonna get a hit. It's just the odds are in so many at bats you're gonna get a hit.
Well, again, and even if it's a hit in that situation, it's a single. So
right.
I don't know how many times I've felt like Espinal's gotten a hold of a ball this year, and then it's like the left fielder takes like one step back and he catches it. Like it's not even to the warning track. Last year, what did he hit? How many home runs did he hit last year? He had like 7 or 8, didn't he?
He had a good number, like for him. I think he had a career high.
I don't know if he's
career high in like
track.
5 different stats. I remember last year. Funny enough, it was against the Pirates in Pittsburgh. He hit a home run and he freaking pimped this thing like you would have thought he put it in.
I know exactly.
Into the upper deck,
like 1 row deep,
and the left fielder almost caught it.
Yes, that small wall. I know exactly what you're talking about. I remember that.
I tweet that video like once every 5 months. I'm like, this is just.
All right,
it was like that was the downfall.
In 2024, he hit 9 home runs last year, career high. Maybe he got some no Elvie Marte meds. They didn't test him. Gosh, but I mean, this year, Espinal, I've seen enough. Like, I feel bad that the amount of stuff I say about him, but he's just being put in situations where he's not going to succeed. I feel like. But,
yeah.
Anyway.
Now, do you think that they could go after like a Josh Naylor in free agency?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's so hard to predict what people will make, and it's like so hard to predict what the Reds have to. You just have no idea how much the Reds are willing to spend ever. So I honestly have no clue, but they need someone at first base. Like as good as Steer's been defensively at first base, he just hasn't been good. I know people love Spencer Steer, but he's been a bad offensive player this year. There's not really any other way around it, and I think it all stems with the problem. Like Matt McClain, like even since the All-Star break, he's been heading for better average. His power is like gone.
Yeah, his OPS is like 770.
Yeah, McClain since the All-Star break.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's decent. That's at least
okay.
Decent.
I had it on the notes for the Chatterbox pregame. I'll have to see if I can find it.
Yeah, but it's still like his like if you're batting him second every day, you need some pop there, and there just isn't a ton of pop. But and it's like all these guys that you had penciled in as guys that were going to be like a big part of the season. They're like, it just hasn't.
722 OPS
since the All-Star break.
Yeah.
See,
300 average, 722.
That's like slightly above major league average, probably.
You know what's hilarious about that? Austin Hayes has a 333 OPS this month.
He's been bad. He's especially like he's been bad against like right-handed pitching since like May.
Yeah.
And that's part of like, and then he just slot him right back. You slot him right in the 4 spot, right behind Ellie every time. They're like, I don't know.
When they had the lineup when they had McClain leading off and Marte and then Ellie, they all 3 had like 3 hits. Like, why didn't they stick with that? Like, I love TJ Friedl. He's what's he top 10 in on base percentage? Put him in the 9 hole. You know,
Yeah.
Like if you could have, I mean, I get it. You have 2 righties and then an Ellie's a switch hitter, but I just think that they don't have like dramatic splits, so I feel like they could make that work. And you could, I really like that with those 3 in that order, because it's like that's your future for one, but then like they also performed, and I just really liked how they won that game too, right? That was
I don't remember.
The Thursday night game against the Dodgers?
It might have been. I don't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I just it just goes right back. Once everybody's available, it just goes right back to the normal lineup. Let me see if I can find one more, and then we'll hop off here.
All right.
I got my vents in. Here we go.
Feel better?
Here we go. We don't need the Santiago Espinal getting some time at first base really justify him getting a high leverage late inning at bat. Chris Valleca's approach to hitting in a small ballpark. Can't speak. Let's see. Playing down to competition. I'm a big believer in the Reds, but you lose the first 2 games of the Pirates. I hate to say it, but they're done. I hope they prove me wrong. I'm close to. Like I truly want this team to go on a run, but I've been saying that for months. Like I don't know. I don't know if like again we have the Brewers coming up, we have the Phillies coming up. Like this was the time to go on a run. You took 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. You had 4 against the Pirates. You're gonna at least win 3 there, and then all of a sudden you're down 2-0 in the series. It's like I don't know. Yeah, it just feels like it's gonna be another 80 to 82, 84, somewhere in there. And I think what's even more frustrating about this, the Mets have lost like 10 out of 11 games, and we can't make up ground because now they've lost 3 straight. But it's just I think that's why I don't have faith in like a big run. It just this team all season long has been win 3, lose 3, win 4, lose 3, win 3, lose 4. Like it's just it feels like that's what this team is.
Yeah, I guess to give you my best Nick Kirby, give you positive vibes. If they win the next 2, they still win the week. And you're like, yeah, we went 5-5 out of our last 10 games, but I don't know. I'm not going to give up. I mean, we still were only 4 games out of a wild card spot at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just you lose 3 in a row, and 2 of those are to the Pirates.
Yeah, and the Mets lost again today.
It just makes you feel worse.
It's just there's every chance to take, there's every opportunity to take a chance or to move up, and like not be excited about them being 4 back or 3.5 back and be 1 back, but like, and they just they're like the Mets are playing the Brewers, we're playing the Pirates. That's the perfect opportunity to go, go get close, and then you lose the first 2. Like last night, as bad as it was, you kind of understand. It's Paul Skeens. The Pirates were big favorites. They're minus 175 on the money line. Like Paul Skeens is really good. This tonight, there's no excuse. You got 6 innings of 1-run baseball from your rookie starter, and you put up 2 runs.
Hits.
Yeah, it's like it's just the offense. The offense is so bad. The last thing I'll say, when Francona praised the front office the other day, the Reds have scored like 3 runs since that comment. I'm like, man, it's the most Reds thing ever. That's the most Reds thing ever.
I like this comment by William in here. It says, when the Reds had guys like Asdrubal Cabrera, Harrison Bader, Hunter Renfroe, Dominic Smith, Tommy Pham, Will Myers, Ahmed Rosario, they didn't do much in production, which was worse than Austin Hayes.
You remember when we got Harrison Bader and Hunter Renfroe and the season was on?
But that was like, we're making the
playoffs. I don't know if Harrison Bader had like 4 hits with the Reds.
I was at the game. It was September 1st. It was when, Nick Martini hit the 2-run homer to tie the game against the Cubs, and then Marte hit the single up the middle to win the game. I just remember sitting there, and I'm like, you could feel it just like that season, and it sucks looking back in hindsight. It's only 2 years ago. Like that was it, like it's been downhill ever since.
Yeah.
But there was just something about that team in 23. It just it felt like they never gave up. There was never. It's like they didn't know how to lose, but they also just didn't know how to win either. But they just kind of just did it.
Well, and that team lost because of pitching down the stretch. Everyone was hurt. Like if you put that offense with this pitching staff, it'd be great. Meanwhile, the same guys are on the team. They just can't hit anymore.
It's just
we
terrible.
got pitching, and now we just can't hit. But anyway, all right. Any final thoughts before we get on here? I appreciate you hopping on it. It's way better when you have multiple people than just me venting my computer screen in the comments.
Yeah, I get it, man. It's anytime you want me on here, I'll come on with you. We can share our frustrations together. It's almost like an AA meeting.
I know. It's my every once in a while. I just have to vent. I get pretty positive from time to time, and then every once in a while, I'm like, when you lose every game you play at PNC Park, it'll bring the negatives out real quick. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody that's in here. If you're here, click the like button, comment, like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. But thank you for all the comments, Ricky, and I appreciate it. Ricky, hopefully the Reds can win the next two. And like you said, I guess we'll talk about a winning week. But I'll still be like, I mean, couldn't you beat the Pirates in a series? But we'll talk about that for another day. As always, again, thanks everyone for being here. We'll talk to you next time. Go Reds.
Go Reds.